similar to this. Okay, so the first bit, we haven't done anything that we haven't covered before. So share screen and go back to. So what we've got, and I'm just going to double check now and see who's on. I think there's a couple more. So Alistair's with us, Barbara, Anne, Kathy, and Mariam. So welcome everybody. Sorry about that error on my part. So I was saying, as far as Malcolm's, I was trying to record a video of me placing a trade and setting stop losses and take profits on my mobile phone, which is how I trade. But it works when I'm just doing it on my own, but when I'm trying to do it on Zoom and recording it, I get some issues. So I was going to make a separate video, and then I realized I went to YouTube, and I realized there's tons of videos on YouTube. And if you just type in MT4 mobile, or how to use MT4 on a mobile, or how to use MT4 on iPhone, or whatever you springs to mind, beginner's guide to MT4. There's dozens and dozens of videos on how to use MT4 on a mobile phone. So I don't need to record that video. So hopefully Malcolm will watch the recording of this and then go to MT4. So we are now 13:14. So we'll just wait until that. This is the 1 o'clock candle. I'm waiting for this to close. There's about 30 seconds. What I can do in the meantime, I can switch on the magnet tool, and I can look at this 1 o'clock candle and look at the top of the wick and look left, and I can see that that is obviously the nearest higher candle. So I can place that ready for 1:30. If I look at this, the bottom of that 1 o'clock candle, and look left, this is obviously the nearest lower candle. So I can have these roughly in place before 1:30. So that's 1:30. There's the next candle. So I'm now looking at this candle, confirming that's the nearest high. And if I just drag this down and get it to touch the top of the wick on the 1 o'clock candle, that's in place. And I need to reposition this. So this was the bottom of the 1 o'clock candle. If I look left, it's that candle there, and I didn't quite snap to it. There it is. And then I drag this. Now, because there's no wick on the bottom of the 1 o'clock candle, I need this trend line to pass through this candle, through the center of the candle, looking left to right. So just imagine that there is a wick on the bottom of that candle, and I'm now crossing that wick. So that's Euro US. I'm on the 15-minute chart. I can see the start of today's trading. I can see the icons that remind me there's some news. And if I zoom in a little bit, or zoom out, I should say, I can see yesterday's point of control from volume profile. So that's all that I need to see. I'm noticing that price is still within what we call no man's land. It's between the green and the red trend lines. So I know that I don't need to rush to look at that on the 2-minute chart. I can afford to spend time placing the other trend lines. So here we are. We've got the 1 o'clock candle. If I look at the top of the 1 o'clock, which is there, and I look left, I can see that that candle there is the nearest higher candle. Once again, I've got yesterday's POC in vision. That's touching the top of the 1 o'clock there. If I look at the bottom of the 1 o'clock, there is a small wick on it. If I look left, I can see that that candle is the nearest lower candle. That's not the one. I want it on that one. There we go. And I want that to touch the bottom of the wick on the 1 o'clock. Okay, so there is no red flag news on the Canadian dollar. There was some low impact yellow flag news, but there's no icons at the bottom because there's nothing red flag. So that's a 1 o'clock, just double check. 1 o'clock, yeah. GBP USD. So this is that's the 1 o'clock candle. So I just need to move that out of the way. So looking at the top of the wick on the 1 o'clock and looking left, I can see that that is the nearest high. And looking at the bottom of the wick on the 1 o'clock and looking left, I can see that is the nearest low. Well, this is going to be quite steep. And again, I'm noticing that price is still going to be in no man's land. Actually, it's just popped up above the green trend line, but its price is coming down anyway. So nothing to worry about there. GBP card. 1 o'clock candle is that one. If I look at the top of the wick and look left, I can see that this big red candle is the nearest high. Looking at the bottom and looking left, I can see that indecision candle there, that red indecision candle is the nearest low, and that's almost perfect. So we just need to drag this one down. So we've got all four set up on the 15-minute chart. You must remember to knock off the magnet tool because it interferes with what you're trying to do after this. So a 2-minute chart. GBP card, we are above the green trend line. So I need to start looking using other indicators. So I turn on straightforward Forex and I notice that we are in a wave up and we do have green PSARs, although we've just, prices just reversed. If I put on the water atta next, this is telling me to keep out because the black line, which is the explosion line, is actually pointing back towards the red dead zone line, and the histogram is below the explosion line. So there's nothing to worry about there. I'm going to put the clouds on just for a bit of extra confirmation, but you can see everything's a little bit, with the cloud, everything's a bit flat. I'll just try and make it a bit larger there. So basically, we're above, well, we were above the green trend line. We've just come back slightly below it. We did have a wave up. We have still got a wave up. We've still got green PSARs, but this is, price has gone up to the 200 moving average and bounced off it. The other moving averages, so the blue line is the 5 moving average. The red line is the 13 moving average, and the green line is the 62 moving average. They are basically pointing downwards. So that's contradicting the wave up and the green PSARs. So too much contradiction, plus the water atta isn't sufficiently strong in either direction. It's getting stronger towards the sell, actually, but we're still in a wave up, so we can't get in. And in any case, before we get into a sell, we need price to come below this red trend line, as it just has done. So we'll wait for the next candle. Basically, what I'm looking for is for a new candle to open below the red trend line and a clear gap between the trend line and the candle. The water atta is beginning to shape up nicely. What I will need is a wave down and a new candle opening away from, and it's just opened. It is away from the red trend line. I have got a wave down and I've got red PSARs. We are looking at water atta where the sellers is kind of backing away a little bit. The dark red histogram is good. The pale red histogram is not so good. So What else can I say? I can see we've got a red wave block. We had green wave blocks just before that candle. We've now got a red wave block. So it's looking like we might be going for a sell, but it's not quite sure about it just yet. This is an indecision candle. It's just changed to a slightly stronger candle. I'm going to keep an eye on that. It's potentially setting up for a sell. We've got 8 minutes, 7 minutes before US dollar news. There was a little bit of Canadian dollar news, but the Canadian dollar is affected by the US dollar. So maybe not a good idea to get in a trade at the minute. Let's have a look at the other pairs. Lost my lines. There we go. So we're above the green trend line. We should be looking for buys, but everything's contradicting a buy. If I take that off, we're still in, well, we are in a wave down, but we haven't got past the red trend line. So I wouldn't get in for a sell and I wouldn't get in for a buy because we're still in a wave down. We've got a red piece out there. So, and the water atta would be keeping me out. Now we've got the reminder there, US dollar news in 6 minutes. So I would stay out of that one definitely until the news has been and gone. Euro card, nice strong movement down, which we missed. So we're below the red trend line. So I'm looking for sells. We've got a wave down. We've got red PSARs pushing price down. We've got a nice increase in size in the wave blocks. That's confirming we ought to be looking for a sell. The water atta is just saying be careful because on that candle, the explosion line started to move away from the dead zone line. And now on this candle, the sellers are kind of backing up, stepping back. They were quite strong there. They're sort of stepping back a little bit there, maybe a little bit of indecision. So what I would need to convince me to get in this one would be a much stronger, I need a dark red histogram, sort of at least to the equal height to the previous one. And price is actually moving upwards, so it might be going back. And we've got news. So Euro US, we'll have another look. We've gone below the red trend line, so I'm thinking sells. We're in a wave down. We have been for some time. I prefer to take trades just after a new wave down or a new wave up, rather than one. We've been in this wave down now for over an hour, and I would prefer, given the choice, to get a wave up and then start thinking about a buy. That's been coming down for too long for me to get involved in a sell at the minute. Plus the water atta, the explosion line is pointing back down towards the dead zone, so that's never a good sign. I like the water atta to be moving away as it was there. So we've got 4 pairs, and they're looking at sort of a lot of indecision. We were coming down, we're starting to go back up. We've got the 2 trend lines and the 200 moving average pretty close together. That's saying there's nothing much happening. All the other moving averages are pretty close together as well. So that's not a good setup, but it's to be expected because we've got news coming along. What else was I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to look at volume profile. I'll wait until after the 1:30 news and I'll look at volume profile, and then the last topic I need to look at is back testing.
Richard, can I just grab you before the news hits? I've got a wave down at 12 minutes past 1.
Okay.
Which SFF have you got on? There is one at
What settings have you got on straightforward Forex? Are you on the 13 or you go to inputs?
yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, wave second.
Wave input, smoothing length.
I've got, yeah, I've got 13 on the second, not on the first. Why did I do that? Just check the other one.
Okay, so
yeah, it's okay. I'll double check it.
Okay, so that's 13 on the wave input smoothing length.
Yeah, I think
and I've got the double smoothing length unticked.
Unticked, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cheers.
That would explain the difference in wave.
Yeah.
Reset chart. Okay. So here we are on Euro US. What I'm looking at there and reading between the lines, we're in a wave down. We have been in a wave down for some time. They pushed price down. They wicked it down there at 13.22, and then they started to push price back up again. Now that's really to tempt people into a trade. And the purpose of that is they want to take out stop losses. So we've got 53 seconds, 52 seconds before the news hits. But they're doing something typical. They do this quite often. They push price down and they push price up. So they push price down to get people to think I'll get in for a sell, and they'll set a stop loss up here somewhere. And then they push price up to tempt people into thinking I'm going to get in for a buy because it's obviously going up. And they'll place the stop losses down here, and they've just taken them out. So they're playing games with us. Says cynical me, but it's not just my train of thought. There's many people believe that price is manipulated, and the way that the banks make money, sufficient money to move price where they want it is there we go. We've just had the news. So I'll just continue what I've said. They push price down to get people into thinking, well, we're going to get price is obviously going down. I'll get in for a sell, and then they took price back up and they took out their stop losses, and then they pushed price down to take out the stop losses of people who just got in for a buy. That's not entirely the reason for price movement. There's two reasons price moves. One is genuine market response. So whatever happened in the US dollar was good for the US dollar because the US dollar has gained in strength in relation to the euro. So there's genuine market reaction, and then there's big boys manipulating price for their own purposes and taking out stop losses because they've got very sophisticated stopware which can tell them the value of everybody's stop loss. So they know where their stop losses are and they know the value of them, and they just manipulate price to take out those stop losses. If you think about if you set a stop loss, it's basically a sell order, and if price goes down to your stop loss, you've left instructions with your broker to sell. In other words, to get you out of that trade. And if you're selling, somebody's buying. I'm going to look at Forex Factory just to see if it was good news for the US dollar. I believe it was. If I refresh that. So US dollar, the two red folder items are better news than expected. They were expecting 0.1, they got 0.5. They were expecting 0.1, they got 0.3. And from a previous, those are the previous numbers. Those were what was forecasted. and that's what we actually got. So that is what's given strength to the US dollar. These were of less impact. They were the highest impact news items. Canadian dollars had good news and bad news. The US dollars had some bad news as well, but not quite as bad as the improvement in those two high impact news items is what caused the euro to lose strength against the dollar. Now, what you have to do at this stage, I mean, this is a Friday afternoon. New York has just opened, so the New York markets are, well, and the London markets are thinking, right, what can I do? If you were a trader in London or New York and it's Friday afternoon, you're beginning to think, well, it's Friday morning in New York, but you start to think, how can you tidy up your numbers before the market closes this evening? And you start to think about taking price down to yesterday's POC as for an example, because you've got money sitting on the table over there from way back. So maybe price will go down to yesterday's POC. Let me just reset that chart. There's also reasons why they might want to push price up instead of down. And there may be some, if I go to a bigger time frame, I go to the 15-minute, there's a little bit of imbalance here. That's from yesterday. There's even more imbalance from that day when it tanked. I'll look closer at that. So this was Tuesday, and Tuesday at 1:30, price absolutely tanked. And all that happened in, well, it certainly happened in 15 minutes. I believe it also happened in 2 minutes. I think it was basically all one candle. Might have been two. But if I put a little marker on the top of that candle there, and then go back to where price is now, so there's a reason for them to take price back up there, because there is imbalance, and that has to be mitigated at some point. Now, it may not be today, it may not be next week, it may not be this month, it could be it could be 3 months' time, we don't know. But it has to go up there at some point to take back, to mitigate the losses that the money that they invested in pushing that price down. And it's been part way up. And if I mark that just as a visual, so it's in between those two blue lines. There is some outstanding imbalance. So there's yesterday's POC sitting there waiting to be taken out, and there's imbalance above the price waiting to be taken out. Now it's just hit yesterday's POC. Now, will it bounce or will it break? There is an outstanding POC from way back, I believe. If I put on the S3P, it'll give us a red line. It looks like it's coming from here somewhere. There we go. So that's today's POC. That's yesterday's POC, which has just been taken out. There's another outstanding POC from Wednesday. So I try and think what the big traders are thinking. They've recovered the money that they left lying on the table yesterday. They can either go further down and recover some more money that they left on the table on Wednesday, or they can go back up and take out that imbalance. They've got they've got two options basically. And I don't know which they're going to choose. You don't know. We just have to wait and see if they give us any clues. Right now, price is bouncing off yesterday's POC. So let's have a look at another couple of pairs and then we'll start looking at volume profile. Canadian dollar. So they've already been up and taken out yesterday's POC. That doesn't mean it won't go back there. It can go back to yesterday's POC several times, but it's heading downwards. Is there any reason why they would want to take it further down? No, but there's lots of reasons why they might want to take it up. I'll reset that. Let's just look left and see if there's any imbalance. Yes, there's imbalance here. Look, just below where price is now. And there's imbalance here, further down. So they might come and take this. So I'm going to mark that. I'll take it to the bottom of the candles rather than the wicks. And then if you go back to where we are now, there is a reason for price to go down. There. So we've got reasons for price to go up and we've got reasons for price to go down. We don't know what they're going to do. But we've got a couple of potential targets. We'll look at GBP USD. So it came down and it broke through yesterday's POC. If I look in closer, there's another outstanding POC down there. Let's just look for imbalance. This is all pretty much at the level we're at now. Takes a while to catch up. There we go. So we've got some imbalance down here. I'm just marking these roughly just to give you an idea what we're looking at. So let's say roughly there, and then go back to where we are now. If I was trading this, I would look a lot more carefully, but I'm just doing it roughly. So this is where price is now. This is where price has been several times and rejected. So it came down here and rejected. And earlier in the week, it came down, or was that last week? That was Tuesday, the 6th of February. It was hovering around about here, but it couldn't get any further down. So that's a potential turnaround point. I'll look at the fourth pair and then I'll move on. I'll reset that. Okay, so we've come down below the red trend line, so I should be thinking sells. We're in a wave down. I noticed we are below the 200 moving average. I'm on the 15-minute chart. I need to go back to the 2-minute. Okay, that's a slightly different picture. We are below the 200 moving average. We are in a wave down. We have got red PSARs, but price is moving back up again at the minute. And look at this. The water atta, all the volume has gone out of the sellers, and we're beginning to get a bit of buyers volume. So I would stay away from that. Just going to look at Euro US, just check something. Yeah, it's rejecting off the yesterday's POC, isn't it? So that's telling me there's a battle going on. The sellers are wanting to get it further down, but the buyers are saying, no, that's far enough. We don't want you to go beyond that line. we want it to go back up again. So that there is a real battle going on at that point, and we just wait until one side or the other wins out. Right, so I'm going to look at volume profile, and I'm going to get rid of some of these indicators. I'll stick to Euro US. I'll go up a time frame or two. I'll go up to 15-minute, and I've got session volume profile on, which, in case anybody's watching who hasn't seen this before, if you go to indicators and metrics, if you go to technicals and you go to profiles, there's a few, there's anchored volume profile, there's fixed range, there's periodic, there's session volume, and visible range. I haven't got time to go into all of those at the minute, but there is a video in my YouTube channel where I compare, I think there was 4 of them at the time. I compare them, or I point out the differences. So if you're interested, have a look in my YouTube channel. But the one I use the most is session volume profile, that one. And that is, it's telling me I've got too many indicators, but I haven't, because there we go. So session volume profile gives you a volume profile for each trading session. So this is the beginning of the Asian session this morning. This is the beginning of the Asian session yesterday, and that's Wednesday's session. It starts actually on Tuesday 10 o'clock UK time. So you can get, if you zoom out, you can get all the volume profiles going back when the computer decides to catch up. Okay, so you've got all of these volume profiles. These have all been taken out up here. There's one outstanding from a few days ago. There's yesterday's, which is still relevant, even though it was taken out just now. And then you've got today's. Let's just have a look at, I'll look at yesterday's in detail. That's quite an interesting one, because if I go to my settings, I can put on the value area. If it will let me, it's not letting me. Why not? That's handy. There we go. So session volume profile. I haven't changed any of these. I've got up and down as opposed to total. I'll show you the difference. Up and down is what I've got on now. If I click on total and click on, yeah, I lost everything for a second there. So back to share screen. Okay, so that's what you see when you put total as opposed to up and down. The up and down gives you buyers and sellers, differentiates between buyers and sellers. Not sure how that helps me. So you can have it on either total, or you can have it on up down. There we go. I'm not sure what delta means. I haven't looked at that. If I just move that out of the way. What I'm interested in here is I've got extend. I've got value area high, value area low, but I haven't clicked on in style. So what I need to do is click value area high, value area low, and it gives me two additional blue lines. So this line is the top of this, it's giving you the 70%. So top of the 70%, bottom of the 70%. So that's the top 70% of all trades. The other 30%, they sort of deeming less important. So this is the other 30% here because there's nothing below. But interestingly enough, there's a little peak there. So there was a lot of volume there, and that volume was actually higher than that one there. It wasn't as high as this volume. So this was the highest peak of volume. And basically what that's saying is there were more trades placed at that price than at any other price during the day. There was slightly less volume placed here, and this is a bit of an anomaly. It's actually bigger than that, but I would, if you were just looking at the value area high, value area high to value area low, you'd be looking at that as a secondary peak and that as a primary peak. That's maybe another secondary peak there. But they point out where most of the trades were placed. And you'll see why it is, because there was lots of activity around about that point yesterday. There's what we call a vacuum there. There was no trades at all placed, and look what happened to price. It shot up, it shot past that. That was almost instant. So you've got to watch these well, I would call it a trough. Anastasia used to call it a vacuum, but it's a if we're calling these peaks, we must call these troughs in my eyes. Actual size. I'm just going to have another quick look, see who's on. Oh, we've got a few more on now. Okay, so what else can I tell you about volume? So if you want to look at volume profile and you want to look at the value area, you can highlight. The problem with it is you get too many lines on your chart, and I like to put I like to mark the value area like that, and then I can get rid of the lines. So I can untick value area high, value area low. I know that this is what we call your field of play, and there's another way of using volume profile. Basically, this becomes a very strong magnet. It attracts price. As you can see, it's attracted price there, and then it's bounced off it. That's what I was talking about yesterday. You can actually trade using yesterday's volume profile. Now, the difference today is, whereas yesterday the volume, the POC was sort of midway, sort of half and half. On this occasion, the POC is sort of, roughly 80% above the POC and 20% below the POC. So your best trades would be if you were taking trades from that point there back down to the POC, because if you're taking trades from the bottom of the value area back up to the POC, there probably wouldn't be enough pips. I haven't measured them, but that's what I'm looking at there. If you want to use volume profiles in a different way, and this is how Kevin uses it, he uses fixed range volume profile. So if I take off session volume profile, I've still got yesterday's POC there. I can still see that. If I want to, and I think Kevin will probably go on a higher time frame anyway, but let me just move backward. I'll tell you what, I'll go to the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, that's going to give me a better example. So, for instance, I've got fixed range volume profile here. I can put it on the highest point, which was there. I have to be on that candle, so I can take it down here, so long as I'm on that candle. So that's my high point, and my low point is down here somewhere, quite roughly, and I get a new volume profile. So on that, from that point there, which was the 11th of January, down to the lowest point here, which is a couple of days ago, the vast majority, more trades were placed at that point there than anywhere else. So at that price, there's a lot of money invested. There's another secondary peak down here, so that's another point of interest. So if you set in targets for price, now let's say today's euro US dollar decides to, instead of going down to that outstanding POC, let's say it decides to go back up. We've got a target here because we know there's some imbalance. I can see some more imbalance here, look. But we've also got this as a potential target. We've got this as a potential target. And you've got this as a potential target. So you can start setting take profits. So you're basically forgetting about this value area high, value area low, which is like a short-term thing. If you're looking for longer-term trades, you can start looking at these for targets. So that would be a potential target. That would be just using volume profile. If you want to learn more about volume profile, TradingView have got, well, I think I did one video, and TradingView have got several videos on how to trade using volume profile. Does anybody have any questions on that? I know I've rattled through it fairly quickly. I've also got videos in my YouTube channel about trading the V70. So let me get rid of these. Yeah, okay. So just going to put my YouTube channel on there. If you go to YouTube and you type in, if you go into the search bar and you type in @ with a 100 on the end, that will get you my YouTube channel. And some of them have been there a while, but they're still relevant. So there's something in there about volume profile, there's something in about back testing, and there's something in about risk management. Have a look, and then also have a look at TradingView. Their YouTube channel is fabulous. Lots of short, sharp videos on anything you want to know about. Right, so we're coming up to 2 o'clock. I just need to spend maybe 10 minutes on back testing. Anybody got any questions on anything? Let me go back to the chart. Okay, so I need to reset that.
Can you hear me, Richard?
I can now, yeah.
You can. Yeah, I've just joined it a bit later. I got way late. I've only just got back. There were just a couple of things because obviously this is all new to me. I've got mine set up at the moment. I'm treating your the Crossfire totally separate. After I had a chat with Paul yesterday. Now there's a few things on here I want to, because it's brand new to me. Setting the POC and the imbalances and things like that. I want to learn. Is there any where I can? Do I have to go to your YouTube channel to? Yeah, to study this a bit more, or we've got something within the group that I can use.
Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel, there'll be videos on. It's called the we called it the V70 strategy, okay. And I'm not sure if I can get Can you see my YouTube screen now?
Yeah, can you?
Okay, so if I go to if I just type in my channel at I'll type in that, do a search, Richard Costello. So if I click on that, click on videos, and then you've got all the recent ones here.
Yeah.
You've got quite a few on Trading Crossfire. Some of them are short and sharp, and some of them are like a 1 hour session. So look at the short ones first, I guess.
Yeah.
Proper risk management, a couple of good videos there.
I mean, I've noted down what we've done this week. There's just things that I want to apply to both. Like,
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
three of the things, like, you know, the POC, the imbalance, and to set me the session indicators and that. I can bring them into both, and then I
That's
can
right.
see.
Yeah.
You know, it just gives me a bit more to look at.
There's one on back testing, which I'm going to do a quick 10 minutes now. There's trading gold using volume profile. Trading. I'm just trying to find one that would be fairly. There we go. Fairly quick for you to watch. These 3 lines. This is the V70. The 3 lines ones are about the yesterday's POC and the value area high, value area low. So parallel channels. I'm just looking for a short one because there's one. 4 types of volume profile explained. How I trade gold. 5-minute live trading gold. That was a quick one. Yeah.
Richard,
Yes.
there's a little video under the Discord under Smart Money. The Hawk's got some videos, and he's got an imbalance video.
Okay.
Only a few minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes long. It's not that long, but that's about imbalance.
Okay, so I'll go to that and find Discord. I've got Discord on my. You should be able to see Discord in a second.
Yeah.
You can see Discord. This is what Alistair's talking about. Forex basic. Smart money training. I believe those are the Hoffs.
You just missed it. Go back up. It's on that lot, the last one. Imbalance zones.
Oh, there we go. Imbalance zones. So under smart money trading, these are the Hoff's videos. And if you go to imbalance zones, it's got a imbalance zones and take profit. Excellent videos. Not sure how long it is, but it's worth well worth a watch. Might make things clearer. So you've got lots of resources you can go to. You can go through these. There's lots of videos in here. TradingView have got lots of really quick, to the point videos, and then if you're really desperate, you can look at mine. I'm going to go back to the chart. I'm going to do something really quick on back testing. I've got a couple of things I want to mention. Now I've lost my way. So can you now see my TradingView chart?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Stop share. Share screen. Got you. Okay. Right. You should now be able to see it.
Yeah, got it.
Okay. So there's a couple of things. Well, you can look at the video that I've just pointed out on back testing, which was about an hour, and I'm going to try and cover it really quickly. What do I need to do? I'm going I'm going to hide all my drawings. Right, okay. And I need to take these off. If you, the first thing I would look at if I was looking at back testing would be there's an indicator called volume, VOW. That first one there.
I'm training at the moment. I don't know about Forex training.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm back, and I think I'm back on Trading View. Right. I take it you can hear me, see me.
No.
Nobody said anything of ill when you were away, by the way.
Right. So I've just put on, I've taken off all my indicators and I've put on this volume indicator, which is free. You can have it in addition to, if you're worried about only having 5 indicators, they don't count the volume. So you can have that on any chart. And basically what I'm looking at here is each session, on every pair, there's a different histogram. So this is telling me that at 1 o'clock today, I'm on the 1 hour chart. So the 1 o'clock candle, there was the most volume, the most at that time. So the most trades were placed at that time. That's the peak for today. That's the peak for yesterday, 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So this is volume at a specific time as opposed to volume at a specific price. And if you're looking to do any back testing, it's a good idea to look and see where the peaks occur each day on your Forex pair of choice. Now on the US pairs, it generally is 1 to 2, maybe 3 o'clock. And then, before that, it's fairly low. After that, it's fairly low. And the peak of trading, of trades placed, volume of trades placed, is generally about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Some days there isn't a big peak. So on Monday, for whatever reason, there wasn't a big peak. But if you go back, you can spot the patterns, and you can see that there was a pattern. That one's an odd one. That one's at 7 o'clock. Now it might be worth looking to see what happened on that day. Apart from looking at the actual effect on price, it might be worth looking back and see if there was some news event that coincided with that timing. And I use this when I'm doing a bit of research. If I'm looking for pairs to trade or times to trade, this is one of the things that I look at. You also need to be aware. I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was wanting to trade after 5 p.m. because his lifestyle dictated that. And I pointed out that if you look at the economic calendar, you'll see I can go back. There's lots of information about market hours. There we go.
Just a quick question, Richard, while I think about it.
Yeah.
You know, while you're saying that you're looking at the times there where there's most volume and there's most movement,
yeah,
is that telling you to keep away from those areas?
No, that's telling you when there's likely to be most movement in price.
How does that affect you when you're making a decision? Because when there's like a lot of news like that, we've been told, I'm thinking I'm keeping away from that particular time.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of that volume is caused. It's around the news, and a lot of it is where they use the news to disguise the price manipulation. So yes, by all means, but definitely avoid trading through the news. I would never deliberately be in a trade when a news event occurred. I would wait until after the news event. Most of my trades are done after the news event. So, but it's important to think about if you're trying to trade at, say, 11 p.m. UK time, it's important to realize that there's only one market open at 11 p.m. because New York's closed, London's closed, Japan, Tokyo hasn't opened yet. So you've just got the Sydney market.
Wow.
And there's going to be less volume. If I can go back from there, won't let me do what I want. So if you're trading when there's no volume in the market, you're going to be sitting waiting forever for a move to occur. So the best time to trade, most people would say, would be when London is open. You get, so from London opening. Well, London opening until closing is all good. The better time to trade is when both London and New York are open, because they're the two biggest markets, and therefore you're going to get more price movement. There's more volatility. If you look at, let's have a look at, you see here, the euro US dollar, it's really flat. Because the US market's not open. The European market doesn't open until round about here. So before that, there's nothing going on. And that's pretty common. Most days you'll find that.
Right.
So that's a time really to avoid. The only reason we do Crossfire 6 till 8 is because we're doing the handover from the Asian market to the London market. And there is a little bit of movement, as you can see. Well, we're on the wrong pair there, but Euro AUD. Again, they tend to peak at sort of 1 till 2, but there is some movement. 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
So, after, say, important news comes out, say between 1 and 2, say, for example, how long do you wait for the market to settle before you consider getting in?
The answer is it depends, but I'll give you an idea here. If I go back to Euro US, I'm on the 1 hour. I go down to the 2-minute chart, and then I'll need to reset. So it depends. It depends on the market. But you see, my view would be, I'm going to stay out on that candle because that's the news candle. I'm going to stay out on those 2 candles. I'm going to wait until this indecision until we leave the real indecision period. And then I'm going to start thinking about, well, has the market settled yet? And are we getting back to normal? And basically, it's just moving sideways. There's a little bit of upward movement. I wouldn't get in. I might think about getting in there, 13.42. That's 12 minutes after the news. But there wouldn't be a big movement. But let's have a quick look at it. And each day will be different, slightly different. Let me just, if I was thinking about getting in on that candle without any indicators, oh, what's going on there? Oh, I've switched my drawings back on. Without any indicators, let's say I was thinking about getting in there. I put a long position on that. Where's my stop loss going to be? I always think about my stop loss now. There's no indication, there's no suggested stop loss. So if I go to the bottom of that candle, because that seems to be a bit of a reversal point, a bit further up, maybe I'll probably end up settling on 5 pips ish. So say my stop loss is there, and I want to get 1 to 2 out of that. That's slightly more than, but it did it. And that was with very little So there was the peak of volume, declining, sort of leveling off, and now it's sort of stabilizing. The level of trades stabilizing, but I could have got a 1 to 2 out of that. It's a little bit risky, but if I put some indicators on and maybe have a look. So straightforward Forex. I was in a wave down. I didn't get a wave up until that point there. So I wouldn't have got in that because I'm on a wave. And
Yeah.
the other, well, there's two reasons. I don't get into buys until price gets above the green trend line.
Yeah.
Don't get into buys until we've got a wave up. So that's I'm misleading you there. But basically, your question was, how long do you wait? And the answer is, I wait until the dust settles, and I'm watching price action, and that's a big movement. That's a continuation of the movement. That's a continuation of the movement. That is indecision and turnaround. You see that a lot. Can you see how the wicks are bigger than the body on that candle?
Yeah.
And that candle and quite a big wick on that. That's total indecision. Then there's an engulfing candle, but not very meaningful because it would be difficult not to be bigger than that candle. That candle there where I've got my black line is the one that says we change in direction, but we've still got red PSARs. So it wouldn't qualify under my rules, but I'm still correct in saying it's a change in direction. And it's beginning to normalize after the news. This sideways movement is normal. I just want to mention something else. I don't know if I've answered your question. It's a difficult question.
Yeah, you have. You have. I'll just monitor it, you see, and then make sure that it falls in with everything else. I just wondered if there was a time limit.
No, it depends on the market and what the market wants to do. You see here, we've got lots of downward movement. Then we've got the indecision, and we've got the movement back up again, down again to the. It's settled after the news. It's got back into rotation, and we basically, before we get into a trade, we need to see some positive movement. We're above the green trend line, but we're still below the red trend line. There's not sufficient room because if price goes up, it'll probably bounce off that red trend line anyway, or it might even bounce off this POC. So I'm pretty confident the effect of the news is finished at that point, but I'm still not going to get in because of everything else. Let me just talk about something else that I use when I do back testing, and then I need to call it a day. So where are we? We are on 2-minute candles. I'll get rid of the, I'll hide those for now. So we've just got plain candles, and what I do is you can do this if you're thinking about a specific time of day, as this guy was when he was talking to me the other day. He's thinking about trying to get in trades at 5 p.m. onwards UK time. So what I would suggest he would do would be go back to yesterday. I can show it better on a higher time frame. That's not what I wanted. Right click, reset chart. Okay, so that's today. So I'm wanting to look at what happens after 5 p.m. UK time. Same thing applies if whatever you're researching, just go to the time on. So that, where are we? I need to be. There we go. That's 5 p.m. yesterday. So what I do is I go to these little 2 arrows, bar replay, and I put the replay on at 15 minutes past. So what I'm looking at there, that's yesterday's 5 o'clock candle. And what I would do is I would keep this on, and I would move this forward one candle at a time, and I would try and so we're starting to move upwards. Why not put, for instance, straightforward forex on combination, and you can put other indicators on as well. But can you see we've got engulfing candle and prices moving upwards? So there may be an opportunity to get in. Where are we? If we just begin looking at it at 5 o'clock, so at 5 o'clock there was the beginning of a movement upwards. So I'll just move it on a bit further. Maybe mark that and say, right, what would happen if I got in on that candle for a buy? Let's have a look. You can see the volume is decreasing. But price, I was going to say, but price is still going. Now that, I need to stop it there. That is the end of yesterday's session. So that would be like 10 o'clock at night. So between 5 and 10, price did go up. Did it go up sufficiently for me to make profit? We'll just have a look. Sometimes it can be misleading if you're looking at the chart and you've got them a little bit too flat. So say I'd got in there. We were already in a wave up. I'm not using the Crossfire trend line, so take a long position, get in halfway through that. Where's my stop loss going to be? Well, that's a potential stop loss on bottom of that candle, but that's probably too tight. Look left. There's another one there, look. Another potential stop loss. So that's going to be 12 pips. Can I make 24 pips out of that? Yes. So I could have taken that trade at 5 o'clock yesterday. It never went back into drawdown. It was almost constantly going up. It leveled off, and then it was that point there. Now, you're looking at early morning before it reached 1 to 2. So I would note that. I would take a note of that, and I would say yes. I could have traded at 5 p.m. on GBP US dollar, but I would have to be in a trade for 7-8 hours, and I would go back again. I would stop that, and I would go back to the previous day, and I would see if there's any patterns emerging. Is there always a move at 5 o'clock? So that's yesterday. Let's go back to the day before. Let's put that on there, and we move that back to 5 o'clock. Okay, so that's another day. We'll just move that up there. So I'm noticing, I'm on the 15-minute chart. There was a bit of a peak at 7 a.m. Another one at 2:30. We just sort of nice and steady. That's the 5 o'clock. Actually, that's the 4:45 candle. If I just move it forward, I'll just see what happens. I'm seeing sideways movement at the minute, nothing to get excited about. Okay, so again, we're into tomorrow or the following day, and there's basically nothing happening. Although, again, if we zoom out, we zoom in.
Hi, Richard. On your other pair, it was between the EMAs, the 2 and the 800, and this one's, if you put an EMA on it, just as a, what's it doing? It's just sitting on the 62.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's a help to anybody.
It's just moving sideways. But you would have to do that for each individual day, and you would have to do it for 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks, and see if there's any patterns emerging. There's a bit of a pattern just on these 2 days, because price did go up, but really slowly, really steady, and it was the following day before you got a big push up. But that's one of the things I was suggesting that to this guy, that he might look at GBP AUD, basically because I know that Rob Huntley had a lot of success, and he mainly traded evening time. And I also suggested that if he thinks about the handover, the theory that we've got about the Asian and London market and the London New York market, then the relevant handover in the evening is from US dollar to Aussie and New Zealand, and possibly even Japanese. So you're going from US dollar at 5 p.m. to the Aussie market, and then the Japanese market. So I've suggested that he tried what I've just shown you there on those pairs, and if he can find a pattern, then try it, see if it works. We focused on these 4 pairs for obvious reasons, and on those 4 pairs for obvious reasons, but we haven't actually looked at an evening session yet. Be interesting to see how he goes on. Right, I've got to sort of.
I'm not sure if it's relevant, if it's useful, but I've just put a link in the chat, which is something I look at from time to time. It just has a nice view of the volatility of all the pairs, and it shows you how they trend during the day, and you can set it for daily, weekly, monthly. It just gives you a nice overview, I think. Okay,
well, I've copied that. I'll put it somewhere where I can find it later. If anybody else wants to copy that, if you go into chat, Helen's just posted a Forex tools volatility, which is so I'll copy that. I'll put it in my notes, and I'll go back to it later. Thanks, Helen.
That's okay. When you get to it, if you just look at the pair list on the left-hand side, then you click on a pair and it just shows you the hourly and the daily pattern. I think it's just a nice, simple view of it.
Yeah. Let me just try to copy that. Well, I've copied it. I'm trying to paste it. Here we go. Okay, got it. So that is the end of my boot camp. So I need to thank everybody for jumping on. If you've got any value out of it, why not leave a comment somewhere? Something else in chat. Yeah, Alistair saying thanks, Helen. Yeah, I'd appreciate any comments you've got, and I'm going to put the recording of this session in Discord shortly. There's a bit missing off the beginning because I didn't start the record, but I don't think we missed anything. So thanks for jumping on, and I'll be back again on Tuesday, 1 p.m.
Thanks, Richard. That's been really useful. Thank you.
Thanks for everything, Richard. Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Have a good weekend.